Hey guys, B here with our next First Four Fridays. Today we are going to be reading the first 4 pages of Playing with Fire by April Henry. So, first I'll read you all a description and then we will get right into the first 4 pages. Natalia is not the kind of girl who takes risks. 6 years ago, she barely survived the house fire that killed her baby brother. Now she is cautious and always plays it safe. For months, her co-worker Wyatt has begged her to come hiking with him, and Natalia finally agrees. But when a wildfire breaks out, blocking the trail back, a perfect sunny day morphs into a nightmare. With no cell service, few supplies, and no clear way out of the burning forest, a group of strangers must become allies if they're going to survive. Hiking in the dark, they battle injuries, wild animals, and even a criminal on the lam, while a deadly fire races to overtake them. So, let's get right into the first 4 pages. Playing with Fire. Chapter 1, Blanket of Fire, 6:22 p.m. When Jason and Brian had scouted this stretch of road in the middle of the week, it had been empty. But now, early on a Saturday evening, Jason counted a half-dozen parked cars. The lot for the nearby trail to Basin Falls must be full. Only Brian's plan had called for parking here, and he had made it clear that Jason shouldn't deviate from the plan. And so far, Brian's plan was going like clockwork. So Jason found a spot. Before he got out, he cranked down the windows. Then he opened the back of the little 1984 Chevette he had bought off of Craigslist. $400 cash, $300 for the car, and another $100 for not asking questions. Later, Jason had destroyed the burner phone he'd used to arrange the deal. The trunk of the hatchback was empty except for a single road flare. After he retrieved it, Jason looked up and down the road but didn't see anyone. He walked around the car until it was between him and the road. He pulled the lid off the white cap to expose the coarse red striking surface. Then he twisted off the cap. He took a slow breath, trying to steady his nerves. Then, in a single fast movement, he struck the black button on the end of the flare across the coarse red surface of the plastic cap, like striking a giant match. It lit with a hiss and a shower of sparks, reminding him of fireworks. He tossed it into the back seat the way Brian had said, and now he was supposed to walk away. Walk away down the road to where it joined up with the bigger road. Brian would pick him up, and meanwhile, their getaway car would turn into a fireball, destroying any prints and DNA they had left. But what if the flare guttered and went out? A flame started on the stained fabric of the seat, then began to inch up the back. It felt like magic. He had just created it out of nothing, and now it danced and moved like a living thing. The flames were yellow in the center, then orange, and finally red at the edges. Smoke was beginning to billow out of the car. A breeze blew through the driver's side window, and pushed the flames toward the middle of the seat. The smoke was turning from gray to black. It tasted acrid. Jason stepped back, coughing, still reluctant to walk away. What if someone showed up with a fire extinguisher and put it out? The flames reached out of the car, up past the roof. Inside, the headliner caught. It fell, a blanket of fire. Boom! The big glass of the hatchback shattered, and a piece of metal shot toward him. It landed in the dry weeds, and suddenly they were on fire as well. Suddenly everything was on fire. Jason turned and ran, trying to get ahead of the flames. Chapter 2, Ribbon of Scar, 6:24 p.m. A flat pop split the hot summer air. It sounded far away, but also out of place. Natalia heard it even over the rush of the waterfall. She lifted her head from the beach towel they had spread on a wide, flat boulder. What was that? Next to her, Wyatt, who had been half asleep, pushed himself up on his elbows. His eyebrows pulled together. It almost sounded like a rifle shot. But it's not hunting season, right? Natalia was pretty sure hunting season was in the fall, not in the middle of a scorching August. No, it's not. Wyatt was still listening, head tilted, hazel eyes narrowed, but the sound wasn't repeated. Had anyone else heard it? A couple of hikers still at Basin Falls were also staring toward the trail that led back to the parking lot, less than 2 miles away. But most seemed to have noticed nothing. A pitted-out, plump guy in his late 20s was drinking a Gatorade on the sun-warmed rocks. A college-age girl was taking a selfie with the falls in the background, while her boyfriend threw a stick for his medium-sized brown dog. 30 feet from them, a mom and dad were putting their toddler into a backpack-like contraption. Wyatt finally relaxed. Sounds can carry weird out here, he shrugged. What time is it anyway? Natalia checked her phone. 6:25. Even though the corner of the display had shown the same thing since they left the parking lot to start the hike here, it was still disconcerting to see 0 bars and the words "no service." Oops, I must have drifted off. Wyatt picked up his socks. We should get going. Even though it's an easy trail, we don't want to be on it after dark. Natalia didn't think it had been all that easy, what with the roots and rocks and being uphill. Sunset was still nearly 2 hours away, but it had taken them almost an hour to hike here. Wyatt reached for his hiking boots, scuffed with use. She did the same, wishing she didn't have to put hers back on. They were so hot and heavy, and because they were brand new, they had already left a red spot on one toe. And had she really needed them? Some people had made it here in Tevis. The girl taking a selfie was actually wearing flip-flops. Natalia had considered this a trip to the wilderness and prepared accordingly. Maybe it had been overkill to buy the hiking boots and the emergency supplies. It had certainly been expensive, way more than she expected. After Natalia finished tying her boots, Wyatt pulled her to her feet. Although they had spent hours next to each other this summer, it was the first time they had deliberately touched. And that, dear reader, is the end of the first 4 pages of Playing with Fire by April Henry. If you would like to read this book, you can come check it out now. It is ready for you to pick up. And if you do read it, let me know how you like it. If you do like it, let me know how it is. Is it good? Is it bad? I want to know, either way. So, all right. So until next time, you all be safe, be kind, wash your hands, and we'll see you at the next First for Friday.